Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. Today I'm going to be discussing the Ides of March, since today is the first day of March, and this was requested by somebody, so I'm doing this one as a request. I was actually asking for ideas on what to do a future show on, and that was what came up. So, very good idea. This month of March is beginning today, so little information on the Ides of March. I did look at Wikipedia, and a lot of the stuff I'm going to be reading is off of Wikipedia. It's too difficult to edit. More easier for me to actually read what I have on it. Ides of March was a film done in 2011 by George Clooney. The Ides of March, and a little background history. It's a day on the Roman calendar that corresponds to March 15th. It was marked by several religious observances and became notorious as the date of the assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BC. The death of Caesar made the Ides of March a turning point in Roman history as one of the events that marked the transition from the historical period known as the Roman Republic to the Roman Empire. Although March, also known as Martius, was the third month on the Julian calendar, in the oldest Roman calendar, it was the first month of the year. The holidays observed by the Romans from the first through the Isles often reflect their origin as New Year celebrations. A little on the Ides, the Romans did not number days of the months sequentially from the first through the last. Instead, they counted back from 3 fixed points of the month. The nones, 5th or 7th, depending on the length of the month. The Ides, 13th to 15th, and the Kalends, 1st of the following month. The Ides occurred near the midpoint on the 13th of most months, on the 15th of March, May, July, and October. The Ides were supposed to be determined by the full moon, reflecting the lunar origin of the Roman calendar. On the earliest calendar, the Ides of March would have been the first full moon of the year. And religious observances, the Ides of each month was sacred to Jupiter. The Flavian Diels, Jupiter's high priest, led the Ides sheep. In addition to the monthly sacrifice, the Ides of March was also the occasion of the feast of Anna Perenna, a goddess of the year, whose festival originally included the ceremonies of the new year. In a later imperial period, the Ides became a holy week of festivals for Cybele and Attius. The Ides was the day of Cana Introt, the reed enters, when Attis was born and exposed as an infant among the reeds of the Phrygian River, I guess. It was discovered, depending on the version of the myth, by either shepherds or the goddess Cybele, who was also known as Magna Mater, Great Mother. A week later, on 22nd of March, the day of the Arbor Intrat, the tree enters, commemorated the death of Attis under a pine tree. A college of priests called tree bearers cut down a tree, suspended from it an image of Attis, and carried it to the temple of the Magna Mater with lamentations. The day was formalized as part of the official Roman calendar under Claudius. 3-day period, mourning followed, culminating with the rebirth of Attis on 25th of March, the date of the vernal equinox on the Julian calendar. It's a little assassination of Caesar. In modern times, the Ides of March is best known as the date on which Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. Caesar was stabbed to death in a meeting of the Senate. As many as 60 conspirators led by Brutus and Cassius were involved. According to Plutarch, a seer had warned him that harm would come to Caesar no later than the Ides of March. On his way to the theater of Pompey, where he would be assassinated, Caesar passed the seer and joked, "The Ides of March have come," meaning to say that the prophecy had not been fulfilled, to which the seer replied, "I, Caesar, but not gone." The meeting is famously dramatized as William Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar, when Caesar is warned by the soothsayer to beware of the Ides of March. The Roman biographer Suetonius identifies the seer as Haruspex, named Spirina. Caesar's death was a clothing event in the crisis of the Roman Republic and triggered the civil war that would result in the rise to sole power of his adopted heir Octavian, known as Augustus. Writing under Augustus, Ovid portrays the murder as a sacrilege, since Caesar was also the Pontifex Maximus of Rome and a priest of Vesta. On the 4th anniversary of Caesar's death in 50 BC, after achieving a victory at the siege of Perugia, Octavian executed 300 senators and knights who had fought against him under Lucius Antonius, the brother of Mark Antony. The executions were one of a series of actions taken by Octavian to avenge Caesar's death. Suetonius and the historian Cassius Dio characterized the slaughter as a religious sacrifice, knowing that it occurred on the Ides of March as the new altar to the deified Julius. And that was what I was able to get on Ides of March, and I'm not sure about some sources. I trust Wikipedia more than I trust a lot of other sources, but that's where I decided to go ahead and get my information from, as I do on a lot of my YouTube shows. I had to do a lot of reading because it was too difficult to try to edit and reword, because a lot of the words had to be in there to make the sentences make sense. And yes, I did go to the Shakespeare, home of William Shakespeare, back in 2000 when I was in England. Did get to see that, and well, that's what I was able to get on this request on Ides of March. I actually, to tell you the truth, did not know anything about it. So I mean, this was an educational experience for me as well. And as always, thanks for watching.